everyone rise and greet Rabbi Gewirtz.
Rise and greet, thank you, Shmuel. I appreciate the rising and greeting. You know, I must tell everybody, if you ever had any doubts, and that was the first remark that you said, Shmuel, that nothing happens by mistake. One of the most important mitzvahs of Kibud Av V'Eim, we are also taught, is Matan Schar B'Tzido. One of the most important things that one has to honor your father and your mother. The Torah says, L'man yarichun yomecha, in order that your days may be lengthened on the earth. And for Josh, and I said Bruschetta, excuse me. That's her email name. I'm doing pretty good. So to win an immediate gift upon such a wonderful recitation is Matan Schar B'Tzido. And I think the piece of paper says that I'm supposed to make remarks. It's very hard to make remarks after listening to this. But I did ask permission from your other grandmother and grandfather, Harvey and Betty, if I can speak tonight for a few words for them as well as for Bubby and for myself. And they gave me permission, as they always do. But I want to tell you this, that Betty made sure, or Grandma Betty, I'm sorry, made sure she said, but ask Harvey. So I did ask Harvey, and Harvey said, you always do. So nothing has changed except for such a wonderful, many, many years of specific friendship between all of us. I remember, and I'm going back to, like everybody says, you know, Zaidi, what's the use of putting notes or a sefer in front of you? You never say what's there anyway. That's probably going to be the case again, but I realized as I listened to you speak, Josh, and I listened to the Rav say that he picks on Meir, so I suddenly remembered for a moment, and this applies to here, because somebody threw in Isha She'ivenu Libo and Machsa Shekel. We can put all this together. At your chasana, Josh, I remember under the chuppah, I spoke about the special bracha that one makes when you see something which is beautiful and something which is unique and pretty. But the only condition of making that bracha is that the Elon has to give pears, has to produce fruits. Baruch Hashem, physically, you and your Rebbitzin are producing fruits, of which we're very happy. Bubby and I and the other grandma and grandpa, because we love being great-grandparents. It makes us feel young. But more than that, to listen to you recite the Rabbeinu Bachaya and say Pshat correctly and well, in a way that I can be proud, and in the way that the other Zaidi could be proud. See, now I'm getting emotional.
It's okay, you're a Cayman.
I'm not. That's a lie that my mother says. Whenever she moved to tears because my Zaidi was known to be a crier. No, but there are certain kinds of tears. In fact, there's a Gemara, it's in Shabbos, Kuf Nun Aleph on the base in the bottom, then goes to the next thing and talks about Shisha Dmoes, and there are 6 types of tears. And one of the types of tears, there are 2, there's 6, but 2 things that I mentioned. One is called Dmoes Shel Oshon, and one is Dmoes Shel Peretz. Dmoes Shel Oshon. Forgetting what the Gemara says, the Harashi learns Pshat, we can do homiletically now that my grandson introduced the new word of homiletics, which means poetic license, for those who don't want to do Pshat that Zaidi may be picking on me for. Dmo Shel Oshon means people who cry, and like smoke, it vanishes in the air. They're tears, but it's gone, no benefit. Then you have Dmo Shel Peretz. You have tears that when they pour forward, they produce, something grows, something is watered, something happens. I saw Dmo Shel Peretz tonight. You shed tears, I shed tears, because I see a future, and that's important. One wants to live to see children of one's children, and then there's Shalom al Yisrael. But I'll get back to that in one moment, because Shragi Caviar opened the Gemara for me as a favor before, so I could refresh my mind. But I also remember, Mayor, what I said at your chasana. At your chasana, we talked about the Shema Yisrael, that Yaakov Avinu wanted to give a bracha to his children. And for a moment he got stuck and he couldn't do it. Until he heard from all of them that within their hearts they could say the words, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. So I want you to understand, because my children, my grandchildren, my father's grandchildren and great-grandchildren, lo yamushu divrei haTorah hazos mipicha, mipi zaracha, mipi zera zaracha, ad olam. You kids are the ad olam already. So we're guaranteed into posterity. But I will just tell you, according to the Zohar, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. What is this? There is a word known as plag guf. That's a half, what is a half what? Half body, okay? It's a nicer way of putting it. Because the Torah teaches, Ish v'isha baro isom ukol om b'shem odom. Male and female created he them, and united called them a mensch, a person. Larry and Miriam, you are a plag, you are a broken unit. You are a broken unit. Together you become one. So too do we say Klal Yisrael, without the Almighty, is a plag, is a half. And God himself, without the Echad of Klal Yisrael, he's only a half. God becomes whole because we make him whole. This is why when we deal with the Machzis HaShekel, the Kleyoker adds amongst the many things that he does, and he says, this is to be a reminder. When Moshe Rabbeinu came down from the mountain, we dropped the luchos, and now we have two broken halves. And so we take Machzis HaShekel to remind us, if we live our lives not in teaching with Torah, then we continue the broken halves. And if we put the two halves together and make the whole the unity, then it's Hashem Echad. Then God is one, his Torah is one, and the world is one. And if I have an extra minute and a half, having taken up a lot of my time, so I mentioned to you the idea of Vonim Levonecha. So I asked Reb Shragi to open the Gemara and Seite Daf Mem, and the Tosefta, based on that Gemara, says, Kisheniftorim, when people used to say goodbye to each other at the end of Yom Kippur, tonight we're saying goodbye at the end of the dinner, you're going for dessert, Baruch Hashem, so at least there's something better than us sitting up here. So what did they say to one another? Yevorechecha Hashem mitzion, u'rei betu b'Yerushalayim, u'rei boni levonecha. And the Gemara asks, when was this said? It was said by the Kohanim during Birchas Kohanim. Larry, you're a Kohen, the first Kohen in my family. Now we got a few more. And I got a lot more coming. So this little Yisrael is going to be, but I will tell you, this is for those who like Kabbalah. The Avnei Nezer makes a comment that every Yisrael has to in his lifetime somewhere be a Kohen. Because if you're not a Kohen, you can't be Mekayim Kol HaMitzvos of Kol HaTorah Kula. So that every Gilgul of every Neshama, these are dirty words, I know, but I'm having fun. I'm on a roll, Gilgul, Galgal, you know. But the fact is that in every Gilgul, ultimately something has to happen. That you have the opportunity to evolve and become something unique and something special. Miriam and Larry, you also live Baruch Hashem so far. It's a pasuk, by the way, for those of you who don't know. It's in Tehillim, Kuf Chav Ches, pasuk Vav, I think. So I used to say Tehillim when I was from, so I still remember how to do it. But I remember a Rashi there. Rashi says, "Ureivoni levonecha v'shalom al Yisrael." When is there shalom? When is there peace for the household of Israel? When you have bonim asher yorshu, when you will have children who are worthy of inheriting. And when you have the inheritance, b'li machlekes u'b'li kitota, without fights and without argument, they become the legacy, shalom al Yisrael. Then there's peace in Israel. So your siblings, with all the picking and playing over the years, They love each other, and I know that. And you and your siblings, and you with your siblings, Mina Shemayim, I pray for everybody. Yeh Shalom Al Yisrael. And when was this said, Larry? You remember? By Ne'ilah. Bein Birchas Kahanim, the Gemara says. So without you, we wouldn't be in the position to say, Shalom Al Yisrael. May we all have much nachas and much joy. You see, I didn't, because there's the Gewaldige Marshal. There's so much I'd love to say to everybody, but I can't say it. So Shmuel is itchy. I told Shmuel I'll tell him the Marshal privately someday. Wasn't shot l'shem Shemayim. Come. Mazel tov.
Again, to shift in the least appropriate direction possible. No, I understand that. I feel a little bit like Bob Barker, but without the, other things. For the next, for a $50 gift certificate for edible arrangements and a fantastic woman's watch from Greenan's, who, by the way, thank God, have been wonderful and fantastic in all of this. 638485. Whoever that is, you fabulously understood both that you will be eating fruit and telling time. Oh, good for me. That's what I'm saying. That's going to be very popular guy. Yeah, people give it to me.
That's positive.
And also specifically to thank both Banquet Beer and Wine, and also to connect that to Shaul's for the obvious connection of Purim coming up, for 638453, whoever that is.
I'll swap you for the watch.
Barter and trade is always
He's ready to swap.
the last for a gift certificate for the little gym, in Silver Spring, for 638469, whoever that is, 638469. Of course, the main focus of the evening, which is, of course, for our beloved president.